morning and welcome to the Splash Live Greater West Bloomfield only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in our community. We're bringing you this show live daily, weekdays at 9:30 a.m. with your host, me, Maddie Mustrin. Before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone, an educator, student, business, or organization from our Greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. If you would like to submit an entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen and fill out the short Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why you think they should be recognized here on the Splash Live for our Person of the Week. Now let's go check out what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. The first ongoing events we want to look at are the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. They have a ton of virtual, fun, and educational events for residents of West Bloomfield in all age groups. Today they're booked for the evening event where they will be talking about Wake Siren by Nina McLaughlin. This tackles foundational myths of Western civilization through contemporary retellings where authors update myths for the 21st century that allow readers to question the unexamined and broaden their perspectives. Next Thursday, they will be having their Reader's Choice book discussion where you're able to talk about what you are currently reading and talk about recommendations with your neighbors and friends. This allows other readers to talk with others about their books in a virtual discussion facilitated by librarians Amanda and Jolie. For this event and all these other library events, you can head over to their website at West Bloomfield Township Public Library through wblib.org. Our last event we want to look at is the Sylvan Lake Game Night events. This event is perfect if you're looking for something fun to do with your community. Whether you go alone or with friends, the Sylvan Lake Game Nights are a great way to socialize safely with your neighbors and friends. Sylvan Lake Game Nights take place every Wednesday when there's not a Sylvan Lake board meeting in the community center. Game night starts at 5:30 p.m. and will go to about 9 p.m. at the community center. This event is open to all Sylvan Lake residents. They also will have some board games and card games, including euchre and mahjong. If you've never played them before, they will definitely teach you how to play. But if you've played, you can definitely compete with other Sylvan Lake residents, and you can bring any family and friends that you wish to participate with you. If you have an event you would like us to feature here on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, I will be talking with Shahenda Vannostrand, the Information and Technology Specialist at Chico Elementary School. But before that, for the past 4 years, the 4 community leaders in Greater West Bloomfield have come together to address topics that are impacting our community. For the 4th annual State of the Community's Address, I got to ask local leaders from Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Kiko Harbor, and West Bloomfield about their updates in the community over the past year. Let's go check out what the leaders had to say about the COVID-19 pandemic and how is it impacting their communities. For the 4th annual State of the Community's Address, the 4 community leaders from Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Kiko Harbor, and West Bloomfield got together to talk about important issues that are impacting our communities. Let's find out what they had to say about the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, as any other community has been plagued by the coronavirus, it's now been 24 months, and it really is a game changer. It changed nearly everything we do, including our interactions with one another and the public. But fortunately, we, like many cities and townships, we instituted measures, Maddie, trying to keep everybody safe. And we're pleased to say of the 97 employees at Town Hall, only 17 contracted COVID and nobody was seriously ill. But as COVID is winding down, at least we think, the coronavirus, I think there are permanent changes. For example, we have our plexiglass at the windows where we meet the public. I think they're there to stay. I think people are much more vigilant and diligent, Maddie, about keeping clean, hand sanitizing, and social distancing.
Last year and the prior year, we had residents step up and organize events that brought us hope and solidarity through another difficult year. We saw things like a monthly glow roll, blood drives, Wednesday game and yoga night, and those are just some of the events that made last year memorable. Our Parks and Rec maintains an active schedule. They organized a Christmas tree lighting and a menorah lighting. They organized a haunted trail on the Clinton River Trail. Euchre tournament and chili cook-off that they've been doing for a long time, an adult field day, and we celebrated our 100th year since becoming a village, but we did become a city in 1947.
Well, when it first started, of course, we closed our city hall except by appointment. And that worked for a while, and then things started to open up. And so we did, in fact, have a mask mandate. We put up some plexiglass shields, and we were able to accommodate our people that needed to come in. So that worked out fine. Unfortunately, in recent months, COVID has really run through our staff and our police department. Fortunately, nobody was terribly sick, but some people got it twice. And it just was something we had to deal with, but we never stopped our ability to help our citizens when they needed our services.
We were greatly affected by the pandemic. Wearing of masks. We did City Hall by appointment only for quite a while. And even now, staffing is somewhat of a problem. We worked with Oakland County quite a bit to help our restaurants. And so I think our staff really did a fantastic job working their way through it. Our public safety department.
To check out more, you can head over to civiccentertv.com and watch the entire 4th annual State of the Communities address on our on-demand page. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschin. If you want to check out the entire State of the Communities address and hear more about COVID-19 infrastructure and community programs, you can head over to civiccentertv.com or visit our YouTube page to watch the entire 4th annual State of the Communities. Later on, we'll be checking out a great place to enjoy local eats and drinks while enjoying the warmer weather here in our greater West Bloomfield community. But before that, we'll be joined by Shahenda Vannostrand and Cindy Carson from the West Bloomfield School District. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Teens a day die from texting and driving. Don't text and drive.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. Joining us now from the West Bloomfield School District is Shahenda Vannostrand and Cindy Carson, joining us to talk a little bit about their position and some fun things going on in the school district. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
No problem. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yes. So let's start off, Cindy. I know that we've had you on the Splash before, but Shahenda, can we talk a little bit about your position in the school district as the Information and Technology Specialist at Chico Elementary School?
Sure. So I am the Information and Technology Specialist for grades 3 through 5 here at Chico, and I'm also a literacy coach. So that means I get to go into classroom and work side by side with teachers and students in building a stronger program for our students in reading and writing.
And then for the information and technology aspect of the West Bloomfield School District, Shahenda, we could start with you, and then we can head over to Cindy. Can we talk about the importance of it currently right now, especially with the obstacles that we face with the COVID-19 pandemic? How have you guys adapted throughout the entire school year to teach those kids the proper literacy as well as the information and technology that they need in the school?
I would say it's, with the pandemic, it really started at home, right? Because we were forced into our homes with technology right away. And it started with the students Zooming with us and just trying to find different ways to model technology for them and having them practice it. But once we get into the classroom, it becomes a lot easier because we can see what the students are doing and kind of guide them. I know at first we really talked a lot about our footprint on social media and, out in the world, on the internet world, and I think that one of the important things for kids was just knowing what was safe and making sure that they stayed in the different programs that we had them on. And then we also taught them about taking breaks from technology, because I think we've had a lot of time. We were forced to use technology for school. And then as we've gotten back into the classroom, it's really been, intentionally using it at specific times to kind of give ourselves a break from technology too. So I don't know if that answered your question, but we've definitely seen a wide compass of, trying to make sure the students are engaged in several different platforms, making them feel comfortable, and along with giving them access to books. So when they couldn't go into the libraries or they couldn't come into our school library, making sure they had access to books digitally as well.
And then Cindy, a little bit from you. I know that you are involved with the robotics here in the West Bloomfield School District. Could you tell us a little bit about that program?
I'm actually an information technology specialist as well here at Doherty Elementary. And so I'm in the K2 building. And what I'd like to highlight today is just the hype and excitement about March is Reading Month. So we have some great activities planned for our students and focused on March is Reading Month. And so one of the things we've done here at Doherty is we've had a bingo going on. So I'll try to hold it up, and this is an example. So it's the kids are looking for different types of books, and they are so pumped up about finding different parts of the library and, where can I find a book about careers? What is a biography? Where can I find that? I need to find a book about my favorite pet. Help me find this. They're even taking their bingo sheets over to the public library and trying to find books there. So it's really been a great incentive for them. When they fill up their bingo sheet, I have little prizes for them, stickers and bookmarks and pins. We're even doing a top dolphin award because our mascot is the dolphin. And so that's what's going on over here at Gretschko Elementary. They're also K2 building. They even did a book swap where kids are bringing in one of their gently used books and then exchanging it for a new book from a friend. So that was a really great highlight over there that they had going on. Gretschko's calendar that they did was focused more on dress-up days. So they had like a whole spirit month focused on different characters that the kids were interested in books. The very first one was Hats Off to Reading. So everybody had like a hat day, and then like Read My Shirt Day is another example. So we're just trying to get kids to recognize that reading is all around us and that it's such an important part of our world, that books are fun, take you away from technology a little bit and escape and go on an adventure in your mind and connect with some new characters that you haven't heard about before. Another great thing that we're doing right now is we're wrapping up our Pine Cone and Pine Tree reading programs. So our grades K through 2, actually our kindergartners have a special program all by themselves. It's 100 books for kindergarten that they try to complete a poster and read all of those. Our first and second graders, though, do Pine Cone reading, which is a selected set of books, and then Pine Tree is grades 3 through 5. So lots of hype about reading this time of year all around us, and it's very exciting. So thank you for having us today.
Yeah, and with March is Reading Month, it's obviously very exciting. The grades K through 2 as well as 3 through 5, that's when you learn the most about reading and what types of books there are and different authors. Cindy, could you just start off and tell us a little bit about what are some of the books that the kids are reading to get that bingo and kind of the process of that bingo sheet?
Yeah, so one of the categories is graphic novels, for example. So the kids, Dog Man is like a huge hit, right? Everywhere you go, it's like Dave Pilkey and Dog Man. Well, Dave Pilkey also has another series called Mighty Robot, and that happens to be on our Pine Cone list, and it's also one of the bingo categories. I tried to leave the bingo categories very vague so that the kids would have a lot of choice. One of the categories in the middle, instead of doing a free space, I did make your own category. But another example would be a favorite zoo animal, find a book about an artist or a type of artwork, read a recipe or how to make something. The kids have been so excited about our books over in the food and cooking section. So they're checking out books that maybe they wouldn't have found otherwise. Different science topics, books about feelings. Social emotional learning is such an important piece of our world right now. So we have a nice collection of books there. Career that interests you. I have a nice collection of career books. A book with no words. You know, the kids are like, well, why do I need to read that? You know, use your imagination and create your own story. So those are just a few of the categories that we have on the board. So, yeah.
And Shahenda, could you share with us a little bit about what you guys are doing at Chico Elementary to celebrate March is Reading Month?
Sure. So grades 3-5, we really have been doing a lot with Pine Tree in March is Reading Month. We've had some pajama and mystery reader Zooms where some of our board members also participated in reading. And some of our books are the same on Pinecone and Pine Tree. So we were able to offer that district-wide, not just to Chico students. And then we also have similar things going on at Roosevelt. So they also have a calendar that they've been using and really reinforcing our Pine Tree reading. The Pine Tree reading, the selection of books that are on those lists, they really encompass a variety of cultures and topics and genres. So by the students continuing to do their reading that we started in January with Pine Tree, just kind of reinforces how important it is to, explore different titles and genres and see what you really love. I will say that one of the coolest things that we've done at Chico is we had student council be mystery readers. So in the past, we've always had those parent volunteers that were able to come in, and that just recently got lifted, but not in enough time for us to invite parents in and get them all situated. So we had the student council members go to different classrooms and do be a mystery reader in other classrooms. So one of the ones that just took place, one of our 5th graders went into a 3rd grade room. He read them a book about differences. And the character in the book was a fish, and he actually painted a fish rock for the class and gave it to them. So there's just, making connections, making new memories around books. It's just been really an awesome experience for the students. And I really have seen, from the beginning of the year until now, I've seen our students begin to love to read and really have reading stamina. They were so used to picking something up and putting it down at the beginning of the school year. And we're now seeing kids that are asking to read longer, which is awesome.
And then as we wrap up here, would you both just share a little bit about if there are any other March is Reading Month events that are going on at the schools, or any other things as we are headed into the month of April almost, anything that are going on in your schools with the literacy or the information and technology aspect?
Yeah.
I can talk really quick about, we're doing a women's history passport right now with the students this week. So the students will be, I have a read aloud that I'm doing with them, and they'll be checking off on their passport if they encounter a woman that is a scientist or an artist. And so I'm reading She Persisted to the students, written by Chelsea Clinton. I know I have this background on, so it's gonna be hard to see, so I'll just hold that up really quick. And then I'll just show you so you can see it. So we've been reading She Persisted. So they're able to mark off some of their passport using that read aloud. And then they're also looking for books in the iCenter to fill some of those other categories. And then Cindy, do you want to talk about our author visit?
Yeah, sure. So Lisa Klein Ransom is our featured author for Pinecone and Pine Tree, and she's going to be coming to join us the week of April 11th. So we're so fortunate to have such a great relationship with our West Bloomfield Township Public Library, and they sponsor the Pinecone and Pine Tree program by giving us books on deposit that we're then allowed to check out to our students through the school. then they also have all those books at their location. And we really encourage the kids to get over there and see the big library and borrow as many books as they want to from the list over there. But our featured author is coming in person. We're so excited because we haven't had an author here in the last couple of years. Last year we did one author visit via Zoom. We had Jarrett Krajewska. So this is great. Lisa Klein Ransom writes a lot of books about people, biographies, and she's going to be sharing her story with us as a writer. And yeah, it's super exciting to know that we have that coming up. And yeah, we look forward to it. And it's a great way to bring our program to a close. And then we have a book fair coming, which is going to be a lot of fun. The kids love that. Those are scheduled for the spring in all of our schools. And that's a great way to support our school and give back and get books in the kids' hands. So we are really pumped up. It's going to be a great way to end the year and springboard into summer reading.
Yes.
And I think for a lot of us, this will be the first in-person event in school. So that adds to the excitement. You know, we're going to have families back in the school, and Cindy's just as excited as I am about that. Just having that opportunity to build our community inside of the school walls by inviting them back in. So we're really excited about that too.
Well, we appreciate you both joining us today on the Splash Live. It was a pleasure to have you guys talk a little bit about what you guys are doing in the schools here in West Bloomfield.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Once again, I was joined by Shahenda Vannostrand and Cindy Carson to talk a little bit about March is Reading Month here in the West Bloomfield School District. We're now going to take a look at the interview that we had with some very cool high school students here in West Bloomfield, where they talked about a fun competition that they took first place in. So let's go check that out now. Joining us now are some great students from West Bloomfield High School who recently competed in the broadcast news production competition and placed first. Kendall, Kiana, and Austin, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you.
So could you first explain to our audience about the competition? What exactly did you guys compete in? And tell us a little bit about the certain segment that you guys put your video in for.
Yeah, so we competed in Business Professionals of America, which is a larger national competitive thing. And specifically for the state of Michigan, we competed in the broadcast news team program. And we put together our own little news show. We covered a story about the COVID vaccines for children back in November and how our school was helping the Oakland Animal Shelter with some food donations. So we put together the whole show, and then we went and presented on it, and we placed first.
And then can you tell our audience a little bit about the preparation that went into putting together this video, and if you guys did that in your classes at school, or if that was something that was an extracurricular activity?
So we did it both in school and out of school. It took about a good month for us to get everything together with the research we put into it and filming everything and getting all the interviews.
And then can you tell us a little bit too, for our viewers that maybe haven't seen the video, you guys have a pretty cool digital news setup there. What is that like, and does it take a little bit of getting used to?
Yeah, it definitely does get a little getting used to. We've been in the program for 4 years, so we're all very fortunate for having the skills needed to work with all the equipment, but it definitely does come with its challenges from time to time.
I would say Austin is more of the expert on that more than anyone else in this room.
I usually teach everyone from their new classes and still these classes, even though people have been doing it for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then the research that went into those stories, what was the process of figuring out what type of stories to cover and the production, and then to put those back into the final segment to show in the competition?
It took us a while to kind of narrow it down to our stories, but we took a look at what was happening in Michigan as a whole rather than like nationally. And we saw at that time that we were recording this that COVID cases in children specifically were really high, especially since the vaccine was available to them. So we took a look at that. And then we also wanted to do something very much
local that's going on within our school, which was our donations.
And then you guys are seniors, correct?
Yes.
Can you talk about your career aspirations heading into college or post high school? Is this something that you guys want to pursue career-wise, or is it just a fun extracurricular that you guys get to do at West Bloomfield High School?
At first, I had it as an extracurricular because I thought it was like fun. I did it beforehand, like in a different program. I'm like, oh, this is fun. So I learned that we had it here. So I thought it would be fun. And then now, since I'm a senior, I feel like I'm going to go into broadcast news and like the behind the stage stuff.
I also feel like I want to pursue a career in this, but I'm also majoring in international relations and international business. So I think I definitely keep the experience I had here and might go to trade school for it.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely started as an extracurricular. I never imagined going into it, but now I am double majoring in education and broadcast.
Well, very fun. And then you guys took first place. How did it feel to take first place in the competition out of all of those great schools and programs that were competing in the BPA competition?
It was shocking.
Yeah.
It was very shocking. I wasn't expecting to even place, but to place first, I was really surprised and grateful.
We were actually the last school called up for awards. And so I think we all kind of expected us to get like, maybe like the bottom four that get an award, but as third got called up, it was mostly just like a feeling of excitement and anxiety that we could place first or second.
Mm-hmm.
It was just shocking. Like we didn't believe in ourselves. I guess we should have believed in ourselves a bit more.
Yeah.
And then to talk with those other students at the Business Professionals of America conference, did you guys meet any other students who are in broadcasting? And tell us a little bit about some of the other schools that were there.
I didn't meet anyone in broadcast, did you guys?
No.
I had a cousin that I didn't know that went there, which I was shocked because like a couple hours after, he texted me that he was there. I was just shocked, and they said they just built the program and they got fourth this year. So it was shocking.
Then like I met a couple other people doing other competitions, and just hearing about the other types of things BPA does was really cool because I had no idea BPA existed until this year.
Yeah.
And guys, as we wrap up, can you give us a little bit of insight into what you guys are working on right now after winning first place in the competition?
Yeah, so I am working on a story about the new bill that Florida just passed, and I'm doing a lot of research with that.
We're getting stuff set up for our fundraiser for our new middle school. So we're getting like all the video set up, all the technology set up. It's a long process.
I'm working on, along with the fundraiser, we do like a bi-monthly game show here at the high school that I pretty much am in charge in. So I will be working on that to come out in April.
Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us, and a big congratulations from our staff here at Civic Center TV for winning first place in the competition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, a little bit of technical difficulties there. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you again to Cindy Carson and Shahenda Vannostrand, and for those students last week for joining us on The Splash. Thank you again to our staff, Jared Clark and Calvin Brown, for making sure that the show runs smoothly each and every morning. For all of our friends in Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Kiko Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Maddie Mustian. Thank you for watching The Splash Live.